My name is Jim Weathers. I'm the chairman of the Properties Committee for Wake Forest Baptist Church. Our goal was to be able to build a facility that would allow the church to have space to be able to grow and also have functions in like our Wednesday night fellowship. In this particular instance, for this new building, we were responsible for handling the design.
Wake Forest Baptist Church was a bid project. We wanted to make sure that Focus was on our bid list. They were the successful bidder on the project.
The fact that when they came to the meeting, they came with probably 4 or 5 people, each in their own discipline, and were basically able to answer questions and field questions that we had.
We hire people with specialties. We do want an individual who can build a church, who's built multiple churches, to be able to be on most of our church projects. The right person to meet with that building committee and actually go through the process that a church requires in order to come up with a design and a cost construction and a time frame that meets the congregation needs.
Cost is a factor. I mean, it's a big factor when you're doing a project for a church in particular where you've got money that you've got a significant responsibility for, and you want to make sure that you're going to deliver a project that's going to meet the needs, but be able to come in at or below budget. And Focus was able to work with us.
We went through some value engineering. They provided some really good ideas based on their understanding of our bid documents, and then we were able to kind of work together to shape that project to meet the client needs, and one of those needs was to save as much money as we could.
Obviously, people have to be able to build within a budget, within a time constraint, and a lot of times their dreams and their visions are bigger than what their pocketbook is. So we have to figure out a way to get them the very best they can, the value for their money. And so being able to tweak those designs as we go through the process to help get them as much as they possibly can, it really is the process that we use.
The real issue out there was the limited ways to get materials in and out and still let their church activities run on a weekly basis. So we kind of got out there together, mapped out a strategy, set up construction barriers to keep people out of certain places but still give the church enough access to the site to run their activities.
It's a little bit harder process, and not every contractor set up to working around existing clients that are occupying a space. I felt like was one of the biggest reasons they decided to go with Focus.
One of our biggest problems on that job was the weather. It just seemed like all it did was rain. And then when it would rain, especially around by November and December, we were cold that year, and in the mornings it was always kind of that frosty ice where you couldn't do anything.
That was one of those projects that came down to the wire because of weather. And I was there the night before, rolling out tables, putting glass in windows, putting vacuuming floors, doing what it took to get that project turned over when we told them we were going to turn it over.
We had an issue one night where one of the drain pipes that stopped up, and it caused a backflow into the old fellowship hall. We had water that was probably about 2 feet deep. I called Craig Hedgepeth, and within 15-20 minutes, Craig was here. And we worked that night till probably about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
I remember one of their guys during a rainstorm down in a manhole trying to figure out where the water was going so we knew he wouldn't flood a building. Saturday night, 10 o'clock at night, they were out there in a manhole. Whatever's got to be done to make the project work, they're willing to do it.
At the end of every project, you go through a punch list, and there are issues that are related to just a whole host of things that you try to tidy up at the end of the project. And they were pretty good to work through that. But then there were some other issues that were maybe a little bit larger. They've stepped up and helped us out on some things that probably some contractors would have opted out of not helping with. There's some of the landscaping issues because of, we put this landscaping in during the end of the summer, which is very hard to put in for landscaping. For that, I think that speaks highly of these guys.
Our philosophy is that really the project's not finished until that punch list is over, and truly it's not over till the 1 year is complete. Our commitment to our clients are to provide them with a complete project.
They came up here and really stepped up and helped. They're honest, they're hardworking people. And for church, that's important. I mean, it's important to be able to have people that you feel like you can trust, people that you feel like you have a connection with. And I think that we had that. I think that they're concerned about the appearance of their work and the way that it's viewed not only by the client, but also by the community. And they want to make sure that as a church that we've been happy with the project. And I think they've worked to try to do that.
Pond 5.